Welcome to In Focus with Ejaz. Our second story tonight is about a report that the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest, is 0.86 meters higher than had been previously officially calculated. Until now, the countries differed over whether to add the snow cap on top. The new height is 8,848.86 meters. China's previous official measurement of 8,844.43 meters had put the mountain nearly 4 meters lower than Nepal's. Everest stands on the border between China and Nepal, and mountaineers climb it from both sides. Officials at Nepal's Foreign Ministry and Department of Survey said surveyors from both countries had coordinated to agree on the new height. Let's get to our experts to find out how this process works and what are the benchmarks used to calculate these heights. We are joined by Vanessa O'Brien, who has summited Mount Everest and also plunged the depths of Eastern Pool of Challenger deep. And we shall shortly also be joined by Santa Birlama, who is the tourism entrepreneur and president of Nepal Mountaineer Association. Vanessa O'Brien, you've been right up there. So it seems that, you calculated through various methods, but ultimately someone has to go on the top in order to finish that process. So how does this work? What are the benchmarks?
So I think what's unique about what they've done is this is the first serious survey that's been undertaken in 16 years. So it's important. It was nice that both nations came together to do it together, so there would not be any controversy about one nation's measurements over another's. They chose to do it as a joint research project and came to a joint conclusion using the snow peak rather than, say, the rock peak, because previously that can make a big difference. And I think if you had asked people, was it going to be higher or lower, there was some uncertainty because there was a very large earthquake, 7.8 magnitude, in 2015. And there was some uncertainty whether the effects of that earthquake were going to have the height adjusted downwards instead of upwards. So naturally, people think upwards because of the plate tectonics, where the plates are subducting under another plate to raise the mountains naturally about 4 millimeters a year. So we do think of Everest as growing 4 millimeters every year. But because of the earthquake that happened in 2015, quite a large one, people were thinking maybe it would be actually lowered. So to hear that it's gone higher, I think brings, kind of a nice twist to the story. It's as you said, 0.86, but people will round that up. So it's effectively, people are hearing that it's grown 2 feet.
Okay.
That's the headline.
Okay. So tell us, what is the difference between the snow cap and the rock that you talked about? And secondly, I was looking at this, the geologist that said because of the quake that the height could have come down. But there are others who said that because of the quake and, the tectonic plates, the height could actually go up. So there was like, this difference of opinion. So snow cap, rock, and then this controversy.
Yeah, so the difference between what China had measured and what Nepal was measuring had been the snowpack. So what other mountains had traditionally been measured on was using the snow. So it's what mountaineers actually stand on. It's what you're standing on when you climb to the top of a mountain. And that's sort of a traditional measurement. And that accounted for for a lot of the difference between the two calculations in the beginning. So Nepal was always a little taller, 29,028, and China was 29,017, something like that. That itself could have accounted for the difference. Simply, China was using the rock going down, not taking into consideration the snow. And traditionally, when you go across other mountains, they're actually measuring from where you stand. So if they're taking satellite measurements, GPS, they're taking it from the top of what those measurements can, trigonometry, theodolites, all of these other survey equipments are taking it from the top of where the snow is and from where people stand. So you can imagine the very, very top being a rocky mountain. There's going to be snow on top of that mountain. And that can be a couple of feet. Yep, a couple of feet thick.
Right. In fact, one report says, and I'm reading from the report, 4 Nepalese land surveyors spent 2 years training for the mission before heading to the summit. And Damodar Dhakal, who's spokesman at Nepal's Department of Survey, he told the BBC before this we had never done the measurement ourselves. So it's interesting. And so it seems to me that the previous measurements were done by the British surveyor team. I think it was somewhere in the late or mid 50s. So is it important to sort of do these measurements every 15, 20, 25 years?
One was 16 years later. So I think it's probably nice to recalibrate and make sure that you know what Mother Nature is doing, that there are going to be the regular effects that we expect with the 4 millimeter growth every year with the plate tectonics. But, we do expect earthquakes and other opposite effects to take place that could bring it down. So I think it is nice to calibrate. You don't have to do it so often, but here we have 16 years, and we see people are going to round the 0.86 up and call it 8849. Of course, in 1999, the U.S. or the Americans also did a survey and found it to be 8850, which is also kind of funny if you end up Googling different things. I always laugh that there's the American number and there's the rest of the world, which is not too different from other things. But it's nice to get an official figure, and I think something where everybody can rely on and hang their hat on.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing.
Right. Stay with me, Vanessa O'Brien. I'm also joined by Santa Bir Lama, who, as I said, would be joining us, the President, Nepal Mountaineer Association. Ms. Lama, this is the first time Nepal has done the measurement itself, and it's a great achievement. And also the fact that, now China and Nepal actually agree on the height of Mount Everest. So tell our viewers how that process went and what were the difficulties in coordinating with the Chinese, if at all.
Regarding for the Mount Everest measurement by Nepal government, it's last year, 2019, and just announced yesterday. This is the historical measurement by Nepal government and Nepal side. This is a special, grateful for memorial and achievement for the Nepal government. And we hope all over countries, mountaineers, and other things between China and Nepal. So we have there's a nearest country. Mount Everest is, of course, is the Nepal, Himalayan and Everest. Same time, both sides we have permitted to climb Mount Everest. That's why Survey Department of Nepal and China is especially between Nepal and China's bilaterals and government to government. So agreed to announce in yesterday. The historically measured is Mount Everest, it comes more higher than before. But of course, we have to follow the Nepal government rules and historical of milestone for this history of Mount Everest measurement.
Right.
And of course, since a long time, since 1953, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa is climbing, and historically, and from British government is measured, and also U.S. government, and well as Indian government also measure in the Mount Everest. This regards is 2020 this very special event in Nepal.
So this is the first time that Nepal has done this itself. Thank you so much. That was Santa Bir Lama speaking with us. Let me go back to Vanessa O'Brien. Vanessa, purely from the mountaineering angle, is it just about the height of the mountain that matters in terms of degree of difficulty, or there are other factors that count in terms of the degree of difficulty of summiting a mountain?
It's not just the height; it's the routes that you take on the mountain. So whether you climb through Nepal or whether you climb through the North Face in China, they both offer very different routes. The first route to be climbed by Sudirman Hillary and Tenzing Norgay was the Nepal route, the South Face, and that's going through the Khumbu Icefall, which is very difficult and dangerous. Preceding the earthquake, there was a large icefall accident that killed many of the Sherpa going through that icefall. And that happens right out of Everest Base Camp, so it happens early in the climb. There are special, they're called icefall doctors that fix that part of the route on Everest. So it's very difficult to climb in Nepal, Everest, because you have to cross the Khumbu Icefall. On the North Face and on the Chinese side, it's a longer climb where you're in the death zone above 8,000 meters longer. So if I had to summarize them, maybe it's steeper in the Nepal side, but it's longer in the death zone on the Chinese side.
Right.
So Everest, by any means.
Yeah, so you have also climbed on the Pakistani side. I believe you've summited K2 also, a couple of other. How would you compare, for instance, K2 with the Everest climb?
So they're very different. K2 is statistically a harder mountain. For every 4 that climb, 1 dies. So it's a harder mountain compared to Everest. That's like comparing apples and oranges versus, say, different routes on Everest itself. A lot of that has to do with the shape of the mountain, the weather conditions. There's just getting there. When you climb Everest, you're going on a known path to the top where there are tea houses and a lot of infrastructure. When you're traveling to K2, you're building tents and you're going down a glacier and there's not as much infrastructure. It's just a lot harder to climb, and it has a lot more difficulty. Shaped like a triangle, it starts immediately extremely difficult. I'm really watching the winter K2 that's taking place now to see if it will actually happen. There's quite a few teams on K2 right now as we speak. We'll see if that actually takes place. One thing your viewers may find interesting is there's a difference between tall versus high when measurements take place. So if you look at, say, the definition of Everest being high versus tall, they're measuring from the base to the height. So if you look at Everest's 3,700 meter rise versus, say, somewhere like Denali, which has a 5,500 meter base to the summit, Denali is actually taller than Everest from the base to the summit.
Right.
Makes sense?
Those are very interesting technicalities. One final question with reference to Challenger Deep. How was that experience different from summiting a mountain?
So they're both important because, in Glasgow, COP26 is happening in November, so climate change is a big issue for this year. Both, whether you're talking about the atmosphere, whether you're talking about the oceans, if you look at our glaciers, a third of our glaciers in the Karakoram and the Himalayas are gone. A third are gone. If you wake up today and you decide that you care, it doesn't matter. A third of those glaciers are gone. You can only care about that second third. The oceans are also hugely important because the ocean acidification, the warming of the ocean is happening incredibly fast. Comparing these two experiences are are more similar than they're not, because they're both cold, they're happening in the dark, they're both risky. There's 8 tons of pressure by going almost 36,000 feet below, or 10,925 meters below the ocean. And, I'm wrapped in electricity and titanium, which is not a good mix underwater. So it's terribly exciting to see something like that. It's dangerous, but I would go to get the water samples. I would go to do the surveying at the bottom of the ocean, much like the surveys that just happened here at the top, and to bring back the water samples to see that the ocean is indeed becoming more acidic. And so that's, I think, an important thing for explorers to be able to do, is to give back and with the boots on the ground, whether they're on the ground or in the water, to continue to take samples and show what's happening to our planet.
Wow. Thank you. That was Vanessa O'Brien speaking with us. This is all from In Focus this week. We shall see you next Monday at the same time. Keep following our latest updates on social media at indus.news. Good night and goodbye.